Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Shweta, your host, and we have been starting this conversation series to put to you the most interesting minds that I've come across. And today's guest is a very special doctor who just isn't practicing medicine but has gone beyond to be a strong advocate for various social causes. So I would like to welcome Dr. Mohamed Khader Meeran. He's an active RTI activist, uh, medical practitioners, and also the author of the book called Patients' Rights, which focuses on bringing the essential rights to each and every citizen of India to know about their medical rights. So thank you, Dr. Khader, for coming on board tonight.
Thanks, ma'am. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to join with you all.
Thank you. So, one of the most interesting facts that I know about Dr. Khader is that he's been an active RTI activist ever since his childhood. So, Dr. Khader, can you elaborate what an RTI is and how did this all start with you?
RTI is basically a tool in which you can know information from the government sector, whether it is state government, central government, or union territory. Whatever the information you require, you can just pay 10 rupees through the applicable mode of payments, and you can retrieve the RTI information through RTI. It's up to you to decide what information you are going to seek and how it will be useful, or it can be made useful for solving your problems and society's problems. My first RTA was, I remember when I was in 9th or 10th standard, I was sent to nearby ration shop with a neighbor. I found out that with basic physics, which is taught in school, I was able to make out that the person who is weighing the rice, he was not weighing it properly, and some cheating is involved in that. When I brought it to the notice of the neighbor who was accompanying me, she just tried to shut my mouth and said not to discuss these things in public. Then I consulted one of my friend, my friend in the sense, I go to a mosque regularly. My house is situated nearby the law college, so many students comes to the mosque for prayer. One such person I came across during prayer is a friend, good friend of mine till now. He suggested that I could file an RTI and ask the government when electronic weighing machines will be kept in the ration shops. So he just gave a brief how to file an RTA application and how to send it. In fact, he said how to pay the fee. For example, in Tamil Nadu government, you have to, for paying the RTA fees of rupees 10, you have to affix the court fees stamp, which is 10 rupees worth. So he gave that stamp and said, you just do it. In RT Act, they are very flexible. Even if you ask wrongly, or if you ask to the wrong officer, they themselves will redirect your RT application to the concerned authorities who send it. So I framed different questions like how many ration card holders are in my area, how many ration shops are there, and when electronic weighing machines will be kept in those ration shops and all. Then in 40, it's actually within 30 working days, they are supposed to give the information around. I think it was around 40 days after I sent my first RT application, and the reply I got was very surprising. They have given us very big statistics that this many number of ration card holders are there in your ward, and 4 ration shops are there, and all 4 ration shops are already equipped with electronic weighing machines. I was shocked actually, because the shop I visited was not having electronic weighing machine. So again, after receiving this reply, I contacted the same law college student. He said, you meet your area council, the member of Trichy Municipal Corporation. I met him and said the issue. He said, just give me Xerox copy of this reply. I will see what I can do. Then immediately I gave that Xerox copy to him. And the next day morning around 10 o'clock, I visited that ration shop. That electronic weighing machine was kept outside and it was fully functional. Immediately I visited rest 3 ration shops, and in all 3 ration shops, the electronic weighing machine was functioning. So this is how I learned RTA can be an useful tool to solve people's problem.
So how old were you when you did all this?
I was in 9th standard.
So probably you were like 12,
Maybe
13.
later on. Yeah, later on when my second RTA, I'm not sure whether this is the second RTA. When I attained 18 years old, I applied for voter ID. I gave application for enrollment form 6 to the municipal corporation. I had acknowledgement of that, and I didn't get any proof that my name is enrolled in voters list. Then after 6 months, another camp was held for enrolling ourselves in voters list. Again, I filled that application, and I'm not sure whether my application was rejected or something. I didn't get any response from their side. And after 2-3 months, again one enrollment camp was conducted by Trichy Municipal Corporation. Again, I submitted. I had all 3 acknowledgements, but my name was not included in the voters list. So I filed an RTA application to ask for the Xerox copy of all the 3 applications I submitted to the Trichy Corporation. So I was sure that around 50,000 new enrollment application forms will be received by Trichy Corporation in each camp. So it will be very difficult for them to search my 3 applications out of 1.5 lakh applications. Suddenly one day afternoon, some corporation employee came to my house, and he said, your problem is voter ID, right? This is your voter ID. Don't send RTA. If you have any problem, just contact me. Just give it in writing in a white paper that you have received your voter ID on this date. I gave it. I never received the official RTA reply, but my problem was solved.
Okay.
So this is how I use RTA as a tool to solve my own problem and society's problem.
Cool. So how young can people post an RTI? Like, you posted your first RTI when you were like 12 years old. Is there any age bar from which people can post an RTI?
No, nothing like that. Ideally, even to file a court case, someone should be major. If the person is not major, they has to file a case in the name of their guardian or parent. But for RTA application, there is no such provision. You should be an Indian citizen. While filing RTA application, there is no need to attach any proof that you are an Indian citizen. In case if the public information officer wants you to disclose that your citizenship is Indian, then you may have to disclose. Otherwise, there is no compulsion to disclose the purpose for which you are seeking information and your citizenship status and all. You just file. Even if you are an uneducated person, you just approach the public information officer of the concerned office or department from whom you need information. According to Tamil Nadu government's RTA guidebook, the public information officer has to assist you in writing one RTA application. So that much flexible it is. You have to only affix a court fee stamp of ₹10 on the application for as a proof that you are paying the state government ₹10. Otherwise, you can pay as a cash directly to the concerned public information officer and attach that receipt along with your RTA application, or you can send it as demand draft also. There are many provisions. Now Tamil Nadu government is also bringing up online portal in which RTIs can be filed. Actually, in 2017, I filed one public interest litigation in Madras High Court. Following that, the court has ordered to take steps to implement online facility for filing this RTA application. That case is still pending, but it's a long process to bring all the public information officers of all the departments and offices across Tamil Nadu. So it's partially functional. Further, I am expecting within 1 year that portal will be fully functional. If it is functional, the Tamil Nadu people can pay the RTA money of 10 rupee from their debit or credit card and get information directly through electronic mode. This facility is already available for central government offices. Central Union government's RTA online portal is functional for last 9 years.
Okay, so you have used RTI for various personal reasons, and you've got the solutions for that. So in your field, in your medical field, what are the RTIs that you have posted, and what stage of development are they in?
Okay, so there are things which I take up and which I continue till last moment, and there are a few issues which I personally decided to drop.
Okay.
One such thing is NEET PG application fees. You know, before 2016, there was no exam called NEET. For All India post-graduation seats, there was a separate entrance called All India AIPGME, All India Postgraduate Medical Entrance Examination. It was conducted by AIMS. And AIMS was conducting another exam known as AIMS PG Entrance Test. Both were conducted by AIMS, but when this NEET idea came up, what Union government did is, it gave the authority of, they rebranded the AIPGME examination and changed it as NEET PG. And they took the exam conduction authority, they took out from AIMS, and they gave this responsibility to National Board of Examinations. When ever since National Board of Examinations is conducting this PG entrance examination, the application fee was hiked exponentially. Earlier, it was some around 500 to 1,000 rupees when it was with AIMS. But from the day NBE started conducting this examination, they started charging more than 3,700 rupees. I noticed this thing in 2017, and I filed an RTI to AIMS Delhi separately and National Board of Examination separately. First, I asked for the amount of the total amount they both receive towards application fees from the students, aspiring PG students. They gave their reply. Later again, I filed two separate RTAs to AIMS and NBE. I retrieved the expenditure involved in conducting both examinations by respective exam conduction authority. It was surprising that AIMS was collecting only 1,000 rupees around like that time as an application fee, and they totally they have in 2017 to 18 they have received 5.2 crore as an application fee from the candidates, and the exam conduction expenditure was around 3.2 crore. More than 1.5 crore was their they were able to make profit or some kind of savings. But the case was very shocking with NBE. They have received 48 crore as application fee in 1 year for conducting that examination, and their expenditure was only 8 crores. So it was a very big issue at that time. Even I approached, it was published in Times of India, Mumbai. Later, I approached Madras High Court that this examination fee has to be capped because 3,750 rupees examination fee. This is the costliest exam in India. But their argument, NBE's National Board of Examinations argument in court was totally different. They said AIMS is receiving grants from the central government for their routine activities. We are not getting any grants from the government. So you cannot compare us with AIMS. My argument was both are online examination. It is evident from the paper that you both are making profit. At least if it is not 3,750, you can reduce the fee and keep it like some 2,000 or 1,500. They were like, no, even our staff salary and all, we have to rely on this application fee only. We will not be able to cap the application fee. And even court said, considering they are not getting any grants, we don't want to interfere. Then we put up an argument that NBE was not created with the purpose of conducting this examination. This NEET PG conduction authority was given to them in the in 2012 to 2013 only. When NEET was scrapped by Supreme Court, they were actually conducting All India Postgraduate Medical Entrance Examination. When NEET came up again in 2000, from 2016 onwards, the same NBE is conducting the same examination in online mode as NEET PG entrance examination, but NBE is existing since 1972. They were able to pay up their salaries and all. This is not the acceptable argument. But court said, no, we will not interfere in that. Then actually my case was dismissed. Later, I found out that NBE was getting some grants. NB has already received grants in the financial year 2015 to 16 to 17, and all. I have their RTI, I have their audit reports and all, which I accessed through RTI later on. I was planning to go for a Supreme Court appeal in this case. But I gave up. Why? Because the students, the aspiring medical PG medical aspirants, they are okay even if they charge some 5,000 rupees. They feel like okay, it's just one-time expenditure. We are ready to pay. Just give us postgraduate. Then I felt why to unnecessarily fight for them. Even I can pay 5,000 rupees, and I dropped it there itself. And another thing which I am pursuing now is related to NEET PG only. In 2018, Medical Counseling Committee, which is conducting All India Quota counseling and seat allotment process for UG and PG postgraduate, UG and PG seats. For the first time, it came up with a novel idea that any aspirant who qualifies NEET PG and wants to take a seat in All India Quota, they has to pay 2 lakh rupees as refundable deposit, and that will be adjusted towards their first year course fee when they join the college. This was the announcement. I have a I have a senior in my college. He paid that 2 lakh rupees, and he joined the course, MD, post-graduation degree. In Maharashtra, the scenario is first 3 months, the candidate will not get, the PG resident will not get any stipend. Why? Because it will take usually 3 months to register the candidate's name in the university register and all. So from 4th month onwards, the remaining 3-month stipend and 4th month stipend will be given. But this person being he has spent 2 lakh for the refundable deposit, and he later Medical Counseling Committee has said, no, you have to pay the college admission fee separately. We will not do any adjustments. We will do any adjustment against the refundable deposit you paid. So he had to borrow money, and he had to pay for other expenses for first 3 months. He will not be getting any stipend also. So I witnessed he took the credit of around 6-7 lakh from his friends and all. Even he was struggling for daily food. Obviously that will be managed after 3 months, but those 3 months were very difficult for him. I told him to write email to medical counseling committee to refund the money to him as soon as possible, but there was no prompt response from them. Then when I asked him to file a RTI, I helped him in drafting. I came to know that medical counseling committee is collecting this money, but it is they are not having any bank account. They are depositing it in some other person's, some other organization's bank account. They in legal terms they call it is our financial custodian. So subsequently I filed RTIs and came to know that HLL Life Care, which is a Kerala-based government of India institution, which was actually they were not involved in earlier, before they came up in the picture of NEET PG counseling process. They were only buying medicines and diagnostics for Indian government and government hospitals and all. But I don't know from where medical counseling committee has got the idea to appoint this HLL Life Care Limited to provide payment gateway service and being the financial custodian to keep all this money in their account. I really don't understand from where this idea has arrived. I was curious how much interest they will be getting when they deposit these many students' money in bank's account, because at first in 2018 they said they will adjust first year, they will adjust this refundable amount, refundable deposit amount against the first year fee. But they later they said no, we will not adjust it, you have to pay separately, and it took around 1 year to refund that amount to concerned students. So 1 year ka bank interest will be in crores. Where that interest is going, whether it's used by HLL Life Care, or it is going to MCC, or it's going in someone else's pocket. I asked for the copy of the memorandum of understanding signed between HLL Life Care and medical counseling committee, which is functioning under DGHS. They said no, we will not give it because there is a confidential clause in our agreement, we will not be disclosing it. Then I filed first appeal. They didn't respond properly with the document. Then I approached Central Information Commission. I filed a second appeal with Central Information Commission in 2018, but that case was listed up for hearing in 2021 January.
Okay.
By the time 2 academic year counseling was over, and during this period medical counseling committee has said no, we will not adjust your refundable deposit against your first year fee, that you have to pay separately, but this will be refunded. What I felt in those 3 years on seeing my seniors and some juniors who paid for undergraduation, they take minimum 6 to 9 months to refund that money. So the bank interest amount they get on that amount is huge. And there is no record whether MCC is receiving that money or HLL Life Care is receiving that money, unless and until I see the actual agreement, how the interest amount is shared, then only I will be able to decide. So when I attended the hearing of Central Information Commission in 2021 January, HLL Life Care was no, there is a confidential clause, we will not be giving the document copy. Otherwise, if we give the document copy, MCC will terminate our agreement, and we will not be getting this contract again. But I put up my arguments explaining students' plight and how much they suffer. Chief Information Commissioner YK Sinha was there in that case. He around 35 to 45 minutes this case was heard. Usually they take up any case for 10 to 15 minutes maximum, but he spent around 45 minutes, and he said, okay, your concern is only the agreement will be terminated. That is your concern. So the issue notice.
So I think there's some technical issue with here. We'll just pause for a minute. So sorry about that. We had some technical glitches in between. Yes, Dr. Khader.
Yeah. So on the first hearing, I expected some order from Central Information Commission, but he said, the Information Commissioner said, your concern is about you are not sure how the agreement between MCC and HLL Life Care will be. So I issue notice to the Public Information Officer of MCC and DGHS, and we will rehear this case again. So again, after 1 month, in 2021 February, this case was put up for hearing. MCC was not having any valid legal grounds to refuse to give that document copy. They said, okay, we accept, and we shall give that document copy to him. And I received the document copy, but it involves many, what to say, the percentage of charges MCC is going to pay for HLL Life Care and all. To interpret that table, I asked 2-3 of my friends who were studying economics. They were not able to do it, and I have contacted, and later on this lockdown came up, and I was not able to get the required information. And after analyzing that memorandum of understanding signed between HLL and MCC, last week only I wrote to one well-known health economist in the country. He said he will assist me in analyzing that agreement. So after analyzing that agreement, probably we will file subsequent RTIs and more information. If required, we will go to court to stop this.
So, okay. So quick question here is, do you think that people are not posting any RTIs because of the long duration of response they are going to get, the waiting time for the response? Or do you think the waiting time for the RTI to be responded back to the respondent is because not many people are, asking or posting for an RTI? What do you think is the cause? Is it big, or do you think that the judicial system in India is always having a long period of waiting time, or why aren't a lot of people doing this?
Actually, RTI is not at all related to judiciary. It's related to administrative system.
Okay.
But you can file RTIs to some High Court, Supreme Court registries, administrative officers. That is different story. But RTI has nothing to do with judicial.
Judiciary. Okay.
It's just like you file an RTI application. They are the public information officer of the concerned office or department is supposed to give the required information, the information sought by you, within 30 working days from the date of receipt of the RTI in his office. It's not counted from the date on which you are sending through register post or something. It is counted from the date of receipt in his or her office. So if the information is readily available, sometimes you get in 15 days. If it is not available, they take 30 working days, and on 30th working day, they send the RTI application to you. So that is fixed. But if any information is involved, for example, if something is concerned with your life and liberty, someone is accusing you that you telephoned him and you threatened him that you will murder him on next day.
Okay.
On that case, you can file RTI to BSNL and found out that no such call was made. Show it. They are supposed to give the information within 48 hours, because if they don't give that RTI reply, your life and liberty, which is a fundamental right, that will be compromised. So you can get your information within 48 hours. The issue I see in Indian people is two things. First, they are not aware of how to use this RTI tool. It should be taught in school. Government is this much flexible that if you look at Tamil Nadu government's RTI rule guidebook 2005, it has said if the person is illiterate, the public information officer has to assist him in writing one RTI application, and you are not going to be punished for filing an RTA, because either you will get the reply with the required information, otherwise they will say we don't have this information, or else they will say no, this is exempted under some class of RTA, because some information like defense, national security, ongoing criminal case, and all information related to these are exempted, so they may cite this clause. First thing is school students, college students are not aware how to use this RTI as a tool. Second thing is everyone is ready to discuss it in social media. You say, so this is happening, that is happening. Everyone will put like, they will write even pages, like 4 or 5 pages in their Facebook or tweet longer profile. But when you tell, you write one email to government official, when you send a letter to them, they are like, no, why I should get myself into trouble? Someone else will look at it. That is another reason. So these two are the main reasons for people not willing to file RTO.
Yeah, like you said, the awareness quotient is really low. Like, see, even before interviewing you, everybody knows what an RTI is, but like you said, they don't know how to approach it. They confuse it with the judicial system. They confuse it with the government officials, and the portrayal of government officials in movies, books, and everywhere that we've read around is that gives a picture of getting lost into some big net of very tedious work. So that is why a lot of people find it easier to be present, be socially active on a lot of social media, rather than going to a government office, or rather than approaching any sort of public commission post. So I think that is one of the things that needs to change among today's youngsters, because today's youngsters are very socially possible, and they come beyond whatever they are doing, and they get into a lot of things. So I think this video of yours should reach a lot of people, so that they get aware of what they can do to make a change. So, speaking about making a change, I think Dr. Khader has started with a small ripple of change with this book called Patients' Rights. So, Dr. Khader, what is your book about?
Actually, it's a guidebook for all the patients to educate them about their legal rights in hospitals and healthcare facilities. Because if you see, India is one of the country with very high amount of out-of-pocket health expenditure, and in last 6-7 years, the private medical colleges has outnumbered government medical colleges. Even government, rather than investing in improving the health infrastructure, now it says we will pay the money to some insurance company. That insurance company will pay for your health expenses in some private hospital. So even people, when government itself tell and sponsor private healthcare setup, Obviously, people will feel somewhat inclined towards the private health sector. So when they approach some private healthcare facility, what are the difficulties they face in terms of bill, in terms of quality of treatment, standard of care, facilities, they're accessing the documents and all. There are some few legal rights on paper for long.
Okay.
Since 1986, when the Consumer Protection Act was enacted, and since 2010, when the Clinical Establishment Act was enacted, we don't need any separate legislation. Obviously, there are demands from the health activists that some special legislation has to be brought for ensuring the patient's rights in any healthcare setup. That's a different thing. But this book is about what are the legal rights any patient is having right now in various under various acts of state and central government. So I have included many case studies, Supreme Court judgments, and National Consumer Forum's judgment, and many high court judgments. It will be an eye opener for all the patients, because in every house definitely at least 1 or 2 person is going to a hospital once in a month. So they first, by reading this book, they will understand what are their legal rights, and they will also bring it to the notice of concerned authorities what legal rights are compromised in the private healthcare setup. So when people know about their rights, they will demand. Obviously, there are many rights which are on paper, and subsequent steps are not taken by the government and healthcare system to ensure those rights are given to patients. So when people are aware, when they demand their rights, the government and hospital administration and health authorities will be more receptive to their demands. That will improve the transparency and accountability inside and outside the healthcare institution, and it will ensure health rights of every patient. This is my book.
Okay, I think it's hidden in the, yeah, I'll post the link of your book and below when I attach the video. So I don't think it's clear on video. So I think this was a really good time for the book to come out. Yeah, I think it's visible now. I'll post the link of your book in my video URL below.
Okay. Thank you.
So I think it was a really good time for the book to come out amidst all this COVID and chaos, because once Corona had come out, the face of healthcare system was totally reversed. It was totally chaotic. And given the large population of India, there was a very high demand of hospitals and doctors and nurses and stuff. And even though people, there were a lot of instances where all the healthcare workers worked overtime, and yet there were a lot of confusion amongst relatives and people found it even really difficult to get admitted. So you were speaking about the difference in healthcare amongst private hospitals and government hospitals. But there were a lot of reports saying that even in private healthcare places, the people could not afford treatment, or people could not afford the manual care of the doctor or the nurses because of all the high number of cases that were being admitted. So in your book, have you covered something for the doctors and the healthcare workers as well? Because it wasn't just the patients who were affected during this crisis. The doctors also had a lot of emotional and legal problems because of all this. So does your book cover anything for the healthcare workers as well?
When something is right from the patient side, ensuring that right is a duty from the health system and doctor's side. if if they fail to ensure those rights are given to the patient, then they are in a trouble. They are in some kind of trouble. Either if the patient is educated enough, he can claim for compensation, and at many instances this is the first step towards medical negligence, ignorance of health system about patients' rights. So though this book was written to educate every patient about their legal rights, this will also serve as a guidebook to all the doctors and health workforce to know what are the patient rights and what minimal level of documentation they should ensure to avoid unnecessary litigations. For this book, introduction is written by Dr. Amar Jesani. He is the editor of Indian Journal of Medical Ethics, which is a PubMed listed journal. He has written in his introduction that by knowing the rights given in this book, doctors can avoid many unnecessary medical negligence related litigations. So this will be an educational tool for the doctors, nurses, and other health professionals. Also, there is a chapter about patient's duties. What are the duties of every patient inside a hospital, and what are the things the patient should follow while consulting a healthcare professional. Similarly, the informed consent form, which hospitals get signature from the patient and relative before any surgical procedure or some diagnostic procedure. At many hospitals, this informed consent format is not at par with the standard recommendation of Supreme Court of India in one case. So we have given that informed consent format also, even when some this will be a useful tool for doctors to ensure that they are not landing in some mess. Also, there is one format of application given for patients, how to get medical records from the hospital in which he or she got treatment. There is a clause of Medical Council of India and the ethics regulations that when this format letter is submitted by the patient or his relative to the hospital administration, they are supposed to give all the inpatient records within 48 hours. So many a times patients are not aware how to get these medical records. Every time when a patient is discharged, they are provided with a discharge summary, but there are many instances in which the patient or his family may feel further information about about the illnesses or health conditions the patient suffered during the admission as inpatient, and what kind of care was given at that time. So all the inpatient records can be retrieved from the hospital administration, but many of the hospitals doesn't give this much amount of subtle details. They don't provide. But also patients are convinced at some point, okay, we have got discharge summary and list of investigation. This is sufficient. Probably there is no legal need for the hospital administration to provide the inpatient case records. But MCA, Medical Council of India's ethics regulations 2002 says it differently, and many judgment of Supreme Courts and High Courts have came up. They all said that when the patient or his relative ask the hospital administration for health records, all the records from the day one, all the inpatient records, doctors' daily notes, everything has to be provided. So these kind of subtle details we have given in this book. My batchmate Dr. Savitri Devi has helped in editing this book. She is the editor of this book. In fact, for 1.5 months, it was the best seller in Amazon for under healthcare delivery. There is a good response, and we are publishing this book in Tamil in 1 week.
Okay, okay. Best wishes for your book to reach a wider audience, Dr. Khader. And I think only if people know they can claim. So I hope your book reaches a wider audience so that people know what they actually want when they go to hospitals, because people don't think clearly. They are most of the times when you go to hospitals, it is always in an emergency situation. So in emergency, your brain automatically goes to something that you've always known. So I think even as a general awareness, even when people aren't going to hospitals, I feel your book is essential so that when they are in a time of crisis, they can quickly think and react to it. So thank you so
Right.
much for being on board tonight, Dr. Khader. I would love to have another conversation with you some other time, but we'll have to wind up for today. So thank you so much. I will attach the link of Dr. Khader's book. Dr. Khader's book is available on Amazon, and so thank you so much. Would you, if there are 5 things that you would like to tell our audience tonight, just 5 takeaway points, what would you like to tell them?
I will tell few points, not exactly 5.
Okay.
First know your rights, and when your rights are compromised, address it to the concerned authorities by some kind of writing, either it's email or registered post or something. Also put it on social media. Don't stop yourself to post everything only in social media and not doing anything outside. That's it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Khader. You're very humble, and I hope your book and all your activism reaches a wider audience. And I hope people, young doctors, are inspired to take not just medicine and but delve into all such courses for this. So thank you so much.
Thank you very
We'll
much for giving this opportunity.
Yeah.
It was good to share my experiences with you all.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr.